It is Lindsay's birthday, so I wanted to tell Lindsay happy birthday. Sorry, I was muted. How are you doing, Christine? Hi. This will be a shorter stream today. This will be a shorter stream. Popping in to say hey. Hey, Jalen. I haven't seen you in a bit. How are you? It's going to be a short stream. We're just going to finish the end of this chapter here. And I'm going to do a video on both chapters, like both part one and part two. So if you're unaware what we're reading here, we're reading, let me get you guys back to the cover. Okay, so if you're unaware, we're reading Shari Franke's The House of My Mother. Shari Franke is the daughter of Ruby Franke, the Utah mother that was convicted of child abuse. She had 6 kids, a very viral, very well known YouTube channel. So Shari does talk about that in part two, Ship of Fools. Chapter 15 is where I left off, is where they hit 1 million followers. So basically, up until this point, Shari doesn't talk about too much terrible abuse, right? We do hear about how her mother seems cold, her mother seems calculated. We do hear about how her mother seems like her only mission in life is to be a mother and nurture children and go up in the way that she was expected to go up, rear children, right? So that seems like one of Ruby's main goals, to rear children and have them obey God in the way that she obeys God, right? So Shari talks about how, she's a teenager, she's learning things about her body, and Ruby is just very detached from that. She doesn't get much love from Ruby, she doesn't get much affection from Ruby, things of that nature, right? So when we get to 1 million followers, you know, Shari kind of talks more about how Ruby's become a internet sensation with the YouTube channel. Ruby is addicted to YouTube, right? So everything is in front of the camera. Everything is recorded. So she doesn't really feel like she has much of a personal relationship with her mom to begin with. Plus everything being recorded and for the cameras just kind of lays that on her a little bit more. So I was reading 1 million followers today, and come to find out, um, Ruby wouldn't shout her daughter's YouTube out until she got 100,000 subscribers. So she shouted her out, and then she told her that she would have to take 10% of Shari's earnings from Shari's personal YouTube at for a management fee or something like that, right? She wouldn't shout her own daughter out because she felt like Shari needed to earn that shout out. So if I had to describe Ruby Franke, it would be stern. If I had to describe Ruby Franke, it would be stern, harsh, hard fisted, you know, cold, very concerned about the public's perception, very concerned about her immediate, like, peer connection or immediate peers and how they viewed her, right? So that's what I've gotten so far, and I'm going to be making a video pretty soon. I did start making it, summing up both of these for you guys if you guys have not yet seen it. If you guys have yet to see it. Yeah, this whole week we've been diving into this book, getting deep into this book, checking this book out. Very unmotherly, right? It's like, why do you have all these kids to be so unmotherly, right? That doesn't really make sense to me. I don't get that. You're supposed to have kids, be fruitful and multiply. That is, and we've heard people say that it's of the Bible, it's of God. But if you're not going to be motherly, if you're not going to be nurturing, if you're not going to do any of that stuff, then what's the point? Right? Okay, so I'm going to read the end of this for you guys, and we're going to examine that. Okay. This is after sorry. This is after Ruby tells Shari that she will be taxing her 10%. She says, I nodded, not fully grasping the mom tax concept. What do you mean? You really think you would ever have started a YouTube channel, let alone a successful one, without my help? You owe me, Shari. Business is business. I felt a knot in my stomach. On one hand, mom had a point. Her influence had undeniably boosted my channel. How you doing, Shiny King? How are you, King? On the other hand, this felt like she was cashing in on my hard work. As usual, what could I do about it? Nothing. Here's the journal. I talked with my teacher, Mr. Heyman, today. I asked how I could better my relationship with my parents. He knows I can't have deep conversations with them. He said eventually I have to tell my mom I want a better relationship. He was kind and understanding and really listened to what I had to say. Now I'm jealous of Mr. Heyman's kids because I wish I could have a parent like him. One day after class, I found myself lingering in Mr. Heyman's classroom. Something about his patient demeanor made me feel safe. Sorry, guys. Ooh. Before I knew it, words were spilling from my lips, a torrent of pent up pain and frustration about life with Ruby, how cold and mean she could be, how the reality differed so greatly from what the world could see. I had never been this honest with anyone about my feelings regarding my mother, not even my old therapist. As I spoke, I watched Mr. Heyman's expression shift from polite interest to surprise, then deep concern. Shari, Mr. Heyman said softly when I paused for a breath. I had no idea. This must be incredibly difficult for you. Those simple words, that acknowledgement, felt like a key unlocking something inside of me. Mr. Heyman listened patiently as I poured out my heart, nodding encouragingly, his brow furrowed with empathy. He didn't try to offer quick solutions or dismiss my feelings. He just listened. After I left his classroom that day, I felt lighter than I had in a long time. The world hadn't changed. I would still go home to the same challenges, the same carefully choreographed family life. But something in me had shifted. I had an ally now, a real trusted adult who knew the truth about Ruby and who saw me, the real me, not the version that was too shut down to share her feelings. Chad, on the other hand, was becoming more isolated than ever, his clownish behavior and defiance being met with I'm sorry, a harsh response at school. The rules were quite strict, and he was struggling to stay within the boundaries. It was interesting, the differences between us. While I tended to keep everything bottled up inside, Chad was more like a shaken up bottle of Mentos and Coke, incapable of restraint. He was like a force of nature, constantly pushing boundaries and testing limits. One day in class, probably bored out of his mind, Chad decided it'd be hilarious to chuck a piece of candy corn at his buddy across the room. Next page. Okay. Classic Chad move, except his aim was about as good as his judgment. The candy corn pulled a curveball and smacked the teacher instead. Boom, first infraction. After 3 infractions, a student would face suspension and then expulsion. In this zero tolerance minefield, Chad was playing hopscotch with landmines. It only took a few more missteps, each as boneheaded as the last, before Chad found himself on the wrong side of the school's gates, expulsion papers in hand. My parents' faces when they got the news. I'll never forget it. A mixture of fury, disappointment, and bone deep weariness that made them look like they'd aged a decade overnight. But the saga wasn't over. In August 2018, Chad almost ruined our biggest family vacation slash brand collab, a meticulously planned road trip to Universal Studios Hollywood, and our biggest brand collaboration to date. Our itinerary was planned with military precision, each camera worthy moment scheduled down to the millisecond. I vividly remember my dog is like dancing on my mouse. Okay. I vividly remember being in our van when Ruby said she had a plan. We're going to make a big mess so we can show how well Wet Ones works. What? We made it. Wait, what? We made it gross. Gummy bears smeared on windows, slime everywhere, chocolate over everyone's faces, all to demonstrate the effectiveness of Wet Ones. Hi, SL. Hi, Lindsay. It was all going so well until Chad brought the chaos. The park had opened early just for us, which was a big deal, so we could get footage walking through the empty park. While Ruby was filming her brand deal talking points in front of the iconic globe, Chad was being, in her words, an absolute punk, making constipated gargoyle faces and photobombing her carefully orchestrated brand content. Ruby's dream of picture perfect family content was developing into a blooper reel, so she banished them to the hotel room while the rest of us enjoyed the theme park. Chad, the ever rebel, wasn't about to let Ruby's parental decree keep him down. He snuck out of the hotel room, took a taxi, and somehow sweet talked his way back into Universal Studios and had a great time by himself. Uh-oh. When we got back to the hotel, he was gone. We had no idea where he was for a while. And that, as far as my parents were concerned, was the absolute final straw. Chad was not having it. Chad was not having it. Chad was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to challenge them. In Ruby and Kevin's eyes, Chad was becoming some kind of juvenile delinquent, a malfunctioning robot, and they needed some way to reprogram him. Could you imagine if one of their kids was gay? Could you imagine if one of their kids was gay? Oh, they probably try to like send them to one of those you know how you can reconvert people, or they try to send them to one of those reconversion camps, reprogramming camps. They already had considered sending Chess to West Point Military Academy and had been dragging Chad from one therapist to another, desperate for a diagnosis, some official sounding label to slap on his misdeeds. Much to their disappointment, most of these professionals said that at 14 Chad was too young for them to conclusively pathologize. Not to mention, he usually ran circles around those poor counselors. Chad was often the most manipulative person in the room. Turns out, growing up on camera is excellent training for pulling the wool over on people's eyes. Looking back, my parents should probably just have given Chad the space and time he needed to grow up. Teenagers act out. It's practically in the job description. But no, Ruby and Kevin couldn't fathom such, next page, a simple solution. Instead, they doubled down, more determined than ever, to find a Chad whisperer. Ooh, I like that. Someone aggressive enough to break through his defenses. They were on a mission to find the perfect person to crack his code and rewire him to their liking, which is how the monster came into our lives. A monster masquerading as a mental health professional, armed with a tight smile and a mind full of psychological warfare tactics. A monster who would see my mother's inner darkness and cultivate it, nurture it until it eclipsed all light. A monster named Jody Hildebrandt. Okay. All right. So Ruby wasn't okay. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Shiny King. But from what Sherry's saying in the book, it doesn't seem like Ruby was abusive. Ruby was slapping them around, emotionally abusing them, but she wasn't in her final form until she met. She wasn't in her final form until she met Jody. Like I felt like she could have been saved before she met Jody. She could have been saved before she met Jody. But once she met Jody, like she said, she saw her mother's inner darkness, cultivated it, nurtured it. So she basically put the battery in Ruby's back to continue to do what she was doing to those children. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So that's the first two parts. You know, she kind of gives like a background on the family, I guess, as a whole. Breaks down Ruby's behavior. She always just seemed detached from the beginning. From these first two parts, it just seems like Ruby was detached. And she cared a lot about what people thought about her. That's what I'm getting. Very detached, no motherly instinct, no nurturing instinct, none of that. And for a teenage girl that might just need her mom, she was everything but that. She was trying to fit into a mold of something else. Ruby was. Those are the conclusions I'm drawing from the first couple of chapters, you know? This was chapter 1 through 15, I believe. Yes. Yes. The next is part 3, right? I'm really, really eager to read the next couple of chapters. But I'm not going to be on long tonight because I do have to go out to eat. I'm going out to eat tonight, guys. I'm going out to eat. I just want to come on here and wrap up this chapter with you guys. You know, see how you guys' weekend was going. The book is good. It started off really, really strong. It's good though. It's good. Shiny King says Ruby and Jody are a complete what? Dyad? What is that? Yes. Yes, I'm going out to eat. I thought about going live there while I'm eating because I'll be eating seafood, but I don't know. I may or may not. Don't hold me to it. Don't hold me to it. I just want to come on here because I have an obligation to go live every day. So we are working on this book. Videos are going to come out relating to this book and I guess summaries and good book reviews. I'm working on good book reviews. I'm also working on interviews, more interviews. So Shiny King says another way to say symbiotic. Wow. It's like they met each other and there were two pieces of the same puzzle. Like what were they in love with each other? Like I'm so confused. What was going on with Ruby and Jody? What was that? What was that? The way that Ruby looked up to Jody, it was like it most definitely cult. Like kick your husband out the house? Are you crazy? Like I don't get it. I just don't. And let me sleep in there with you instead? I don't get it. And they're probably in jail right now. And they don't think they belong there. They're that far gone. They're that far. They're gone. But I feel like at some point their minds could have been changed. But the way that like when they picked up Ruby, when they picked her up, you could tell there was no emotion in her eyes. There was she Oh. Shari uses this reference to describe her. Oh, okay. Let me show you guys this. And then I gotta go. I may go live later to try out I've never been live from my phone on YouTube. I always go live on my computer. But if you see me live, I'll be eating. I won't be at my computer with any book or anything like that. Let me see. Body cam. Like her face, it's just, I didn't do shit. Like, are you? And the police, it's the police for me. They're so nice and pleasant to this lady. Like, she just didn't abuse her children for God knows how long. Like, oh, we'll do our best to make sure you're comfortable, ma'am. Oh, are y'all kidding? Selective. Just watch this shit. Wait, what is this? Hang on. Okay, this is her son. Wait. That's her son escaping. I don't really want to show all that. I just kind of want to show her. Look at her. What the hell? Did I see that? Oh. Why does she look like that? Eh, You can hop in. Oh my goodness. That's what I found most chilling with it. She's just like, she doesn't care, bro. She don't give a damn. No, no fright in her eyes or nothing. Just, I did what was supposed to be done. She remained silent as shit. Like, yeah, I have the sound on. I don't know why my sound's been messing up lately here. But you should see, guys, the police are so pleasant. Like, you're just gonna take a stroll with Officer Hines and just, if that were somebody else, they would have slammed her against the goddamn car. I'm just saying. I'm just being completely honest. If that were somebody else, they weren't, oh, like they're doing her a favor by taking her. Like, what? Because she's a woman and she's more like, what? She looks so angry. Like, she looks. I mean, I saw the body camera footage, and that's all I needed to see for me to be like, yep, she did it. All it took for me to see was the body cam footage. She's thinking my kid, she's thinking what she said in those that diary, my kid is a demon. How dare they turn me in or go into the government or all that. That's what she's thinking. Cause the child tried to escape once before, but she caught him. The child tried to run off once before, but she caught him. This was the second time, right? And no remorse, no nothing. Not even scared, not nothing. Now that's scary when somebody's being apprehended by the police are asking them questions about the well-being of their own children, and they're like, I don't really know what to call that. I honestly don't know what to call that, guys. I really don't. Pure evil. She's possessed. I really don't. It took me to see that body cam and I was like, "Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely did it." And then when I read the diary entries, guys, that shit had me confused. Like she was 100% brainwashed into that. She was 1000% like in. I saved it on my phone, the diary entries, because I was gonna read that instead of reading going over this book, but I might just do both. I might just do both because you guys, if you haven't seen her diary entries, it paints the perfect picture. She wasn't there mentally. She was gone completely. Like, for her to be telling her children that. I'm going to say it, the LDS Church fosters blind faith. Mm. Look, I've never been to the LDS Church. Like I told you guys, I've been invited several times. People have called, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. I find it kind of weird when let's yes, 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 that's what happened. I told you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story and then I gotta go. I'm going out to eat. I may or may not go live while I'm out to eat. Because I don't know. It all depends. It depends on the mood, whatever. But when I signed up on Instagram for this group, right? And they said, okay, well, we're gonna get somebody to call you. If like you want a prayer coach, would you like a prayer coach? Someone to pray with you, someone you can, give prayer requests to. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds amazing, right? Let me just type this in. A free prayer coach? Sure. Not more than 5 minutes after I signed up for the prayer coach on Instagram, it didn't say anything about Mormon or anything about Latter day anything, right? About 5 minutes after, somebody calls. I'm like, hello? They're like, did you sign up for something? I'm like, yeah, I did. And they're like, hi, my name is Mark from the Church of LDS, right? And I'm like, right when he said that, I'm like, oh God. And he was like, what's your name? So I start telling him my name and stuff like that. And he's like, can I tell you a story? And I'm like, yeah, you can tell me a story. And he's like, I want to tell you the story of Joseph Smith. And I sit there and I listen, right? I sit there and I listen. I'm like, oh, okay. And then afterwards, I he goes, so what did you think about that story I just told you? And I'm like, it's okay. I mean, it's fine. So what do you think about us coming over and talking more about the church and what we do here and the missionaries? And I'm like, no, I don't think it's a good time or whatever. He's like, and he keeps pushing that. He kept trying to push that point home about, you know, the missionaries and joining or coming to check it out or them coming to meet me or and I was like, "No, I'm fine," trying to be nice about it. And then at the end, I kind of told him I'm like, I don't believe what you guys believe in that certain sect of Christianity. Like I feel like God loves us all individually, um, unconditionally, and He wouldn't make us feel ashamed, upset, cast out, withdrawn from our bigger society. So I do not align there, right? And then he said something to the effect of, well, you have to do certain things to gain the favor of God or something like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, I understand. He's like, well, um text us if you change your mind, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my goodness. So it was definitely a trap. I don't like the way they did that. I don't like the way they did that. I really don't like the way they set me up like that. Right? There could be religious trauma. And see, the religious trauma that you guys have from other religions that may have been predatory can mess up your relationship with another type of religion that would be anything but predatory, right? I feel like I said the other day, when it comes down to religion, it'll appeal to you, right? It'll come to you. Like they say, love comes to you. Don't go chasing it. The same thing with God. He comes to you. It's not like somebody's going to be banging down your door trying to tell you this and tell you that. It's going to come to you. It's going to present itself to you in some way. If there's going to be some experience where you're like, okay, that felt different. And then you're going to go seeking it out on your own. That's just my personal experience. That's my experience. Why is it that leaving the Mormon church really leaves us feeling traumatized? I have no idea. I have no idea. Like I said, I was born Southern Baptist. There's a lot of stuff going on there too, right? It's not just the Mormon church. It's Catholic, right? It's Baptist. It's everywhere. It's people, It's just people. So, yeah. So, I mean, there are churches that I follow, um that I would consider going to, but they're far. They're far. They're in different states, things of that nature. But um I feel like it's going to always come to you. It's going to always come to you. It's not going to be something that somebody presents, like tries to sell you, you know what I mean? You know? Like I tried different churches out as far as for Catholicism and Christianity. Like I tried them out. They're both sects of Christianity, but I mean like Baptist and Catholicism, right? Um there are pros and cons of each. There are pros and cons of each. You still fold your arms and you sit down to eat. Oh wow. Well, I probably wouldn't. Organize religion. I have no issue with praying at meals. I have no issue with that, but I feel like it's hard to say. No one should, in my opinion, no one should tell you how to find God, right? Or tell you how to find God. Because I always thought about that when I was a kid. Like, so if the Mormons think they're right, and the Christians think they're right, and the Jews think they're right, and the Buddhists think they're right, then who's getting the salvation of heaven? Like each section of people are telling their people that they must do it this way in order to get the salvation of God. So which one's really getting the salvation of God? And I feel like that's something deep within you, you know? Religions are churches are, I guess you could say, places for people of one religion to meet, whatever, however you want to put that. But the relationship is between you and God at the end of the day. All of these rules, sanctions, and things of that nature, you know? So, yeah, I have the best Mormon joke. What's the Mormon joke? Hi guys, we're just in here. We were talking about the 15th chapter of this book, and now we're talking about religion, organized religion, and things of that nature, and how it can, I guess, instill PTSD in some people. You know what I mean? That's the joke. You know what? It's funny. Oh, I thought that was a joke that they. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What's the joke? I'm so confused. Wait. A man dies and goes to heaven. God shows him around. So he opens the first door and says, "These are the Catholics." Then he opens the second door and says, "These are the Muslims." Wait for it. I feel like the punchline is on the cusp. The punchline is coming, guys. Just wait a second. Then they go to the third door and says, "Now be quiet." When I open the next door, he says, "These are the Mormons." Wait, was that the punchline? Wait, I'm trying to get it. I'm really trying to get it. Another wait, Shiny King says another thing Ruby used withholding food as a weapon. She did. They were severely malnourished. When God closes the door, the man says, "Why did I have to be quiet?" They think they're the only ones here. Are Mormons that bad, guys? Not bad, but like, are they that? Are they that bad? Are they that? Are they that? You know, that just seems very. Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. 1000%. That's crazy. They think they're the only ones going. So everybody else is wrong. So according to them, everybody should be in study what they study and do what they do and be okay. Okay. We got to do a deep dive into Mormonism, guys. My DNA test said Mormon pioneers. Yeah, that's why they pound it. I'm gonna get um I'm gonna get an interview with SL, and she's gonna tell us more about the Mormon cult that she was in. She's gonna tell me about the Mormon cult that she was in, SL. And Lindsay's never told me about all of this. Like, she's never, not Lindsay Lou, Lindsay Riley's never told me, like, about this. And I've known her for a while. I've never known that this was all of this. God, I'm mind blown. I'm mind blown. I'm mind blown. I'm not. Yeah, I'm going to dinner, guys. I may pop up for a minute and show you guys what I'm eating. You guys might be like, ew, what the hell is that? I'm having seafood. We're having seafood, so that should be fun. So I might pop up for a second and show me eating like some piece of seafood or something. We're going to a seafood restaurant, so that's what we're gonna enjoy and have. Yeah, it's very deep. It's very deep. Like, I thought they were nice people. Like, I still do think they're nice people from the ones I've met here, there, and everywhere. I didn't know this was going on behind closed doors in the churches and all of that. All of this, all of that. I want seafood. I don't eat the seafood here in the desert. What do you guys have? Scorpios? Y'all have Scorpios and cactus in the desert? I don't even know. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's like shrimp and crab and all that. It's seafood's really, 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 really popping here. Tex-Mex, frozen and flown in. I like it the best like that. I'm just kidding. um, I only found out that when I went to other states that you can, like, beignets is only a Louisiana thing. Like, there's not beignets everywhere else around. And I'm like, huh? They don't have beignets there? It's like a powdered donut, fried donut. Oh, so good. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was saying, Dare to Be Different. Every religion, you're going to find something, because religions were created by man, right? Religion was created by man. Your relationship with God is between you and God, right? You and God. And I feel like people just need to do the best job they can of finding the group of people that relate to God the same way they do. Um, Stone cutters. Oh, wait, I think I had scones when I went to Utah. I think I had that. I had honey butter or some honey butter, the honey butter that they have there. I don't really know. Some type of pastry, I had some type of pastry when I went there with honey butter. But guys, I gotta go eat. And I may or may not go live, so be potentially looking for a live from me. I'm gonna go eat. I'm starving. I'm probably not gonna drink. I don't drink too often, guys, but I am definitely gonna eat and enjoy the night for sure, for sure. All right, guys, I gotta go. Yes, I did have scones. That's what I had. Scones with the honey butter. Yep. Fry some scones. Okay, fry one for me because I'm coming to get it. It's so good. It's so good. They're so like fluffy and it was good. It's good. Scone cutters, what they do? Like put ice cream, sprinkles, and all that with it. I can only imagine. It was like a funnel cake place, probably. I already know. Mm. I think I took some honey butter home too. I took some honey butter home. I took some of that salt from Utah home, Redmond salt. I still have that stuff. That stuff is salty as pew. Okay, I'm hungry, guys. I gotta go. I'm hungry. I will see you guys tomorrow. If I pop on, it's because I'm testing out the YouTube on my phone. Bye, guys. I'm hungry. Y'all are making it worse. Tacos, lobsters, and honey butter chicken biscuits. Thank you, guys. Good night. Short little stream tonight. Good night, guys.